Hello my quilting friends! My name is Leah Day, and in this video I am reattaching QCT to my new Qnique 21X Elite, giving it a try stitching out some simple designs, and I have a few tips to help you along the way. So I have attached QCT to my new long arm, and this is my very first stitch out. I absolutely love the stitch quality, beautiful tiny little stitches and almost perfect travel stitching. These areas around the bear's paws, that is intended to be perfectly travel stitched, and it did a great job. So let me show you how I got started with QCT. This is our starting screen. Whether you're in QCT 5 Pro or beginnings, you start out with a screen like this, and I'm going to select and sew. Now I would normally select my safe areas, but because I've already stitched one design, I can go straight into picking my design and placing it on my quilt. So I'm just going to go with the standard size, standard settings, place it right there on my quilt, and then tap quilt. Now this is where I found things got a little tricky, navigating between this 7-inch touchscreen tablet here. This is my monitor, and then here is my QCT tablet back here. And the thing is, I had to kind of get down here and make sure that my stitches per inch, SPI, stitches per inch, was set at 15, and then my settings in here were also correct too. When this machine goes fast, this is the Qnique 21X Elite, when it goes medium or fast, I find that just a little bit scary. So I select the slow setting. I set my tie-off count to 2, a micro stitch. I have both of those checked, automatic bobbin pull and pause at trim lines, and then I also have this set at 15 stitches per inch too. So I had a little bit of a false start the first time I tried stitching those bears, and I think two things were kind of setting me up in badly, and that is I hadn't attached my side clamps. That's the clamps over here on the side of my long arm that lock that on the sides and kind of put a little bit of side tension on. And then I also had not set that stitch length properly. So those two things I think were contributing to a bad first try. So keep that in mind. You really want to make sure your quilt is always set up properly. So now I hit my pull bobbin button, and it's going to drop my needle in the down position. It's going to automatic bobbin pull, which means it's going to not have to constantly give me alerts on the screen. It's going to automatically do it. So that I'm going to just tug on that top thread. That'll pull up my bobbin thread. And remember, we're only using 2 thread colors here, guys, just in these initial trial runs, just making sure that the tension looks great, all that good stuff. All right, I hit sew, and this is going to stitch out. Cute little bear. Perfect design for a baby quilt, and a great first test because there's a lot of stitching in the bear. There's a little bit of travel stitching in the bear. It's going to give you an eye on how precise things are looking without taking too much time to stitch out something really, really complex. So there is the bear all stitched out. Perfect travel stitching through these areas. And this is one of those things that I can get really persnickety about, so I really like it whenever my machine is really precise. All right, let's check in on our monitors here on our tablet and the monitor on the machine. When you finish a design and you're still on the quilting screen, you have finished back to pattern placement. When you click on that big button, you can see that this is going to flip back this monitor where you have stitch regulated precise. Now I can change this to cruise, get back to my normal stitches per inch, and I can actually hit my start button and get back to quilting. So this is how I switch between QCT and free motion quilting. I don't make any change to my frame at all. People are always asking me, do I, you know, do I loosen my belts or do I fiddle with anything or change feet or something like that? No, I stitch out something in QCT and I immediately can go into free motion quilting. All I need to do is make that settings change here on the monitor. And the only thing that I really have to be kind of careful about is my needle up, needle down, because obviously with QCT, we want to make sure our needle is up as we're moving the machine around, and if we need a needle down and that kind of thing. If the machine's going to automatically move, we want to make sure that the needle is up. So that's the only thing that I kind of just really keep my eye on whenever I'm working with QCT. So remember, we have lots and lots of beautiful designs to play with already preloaded in QCT. These are all of the designs that are included both in the beginnings and in Pro. I have also added a gold card, so I can now do all of these beautiful borders and corners. And yes, more tutorials are coming soon, so we'll learn how to place those borders and have some fun with that. So the very first time I tried to stitch out the 3 bears, I did not have my side clamps attached. So the sides of this little practice quilt were not under tension. And my machine was also set to stitch out medium speed, and it immediately took off super, super fast and scared me a little bit. So if that happened to me, it could happen to you, so watch out for that. I really like the slow setting. Even though it takes a little while longer to stitch out, for me, it just, I don't know, until I'm actually stitching a lot, sometimes that can, just a really loud machine noise or a lot of movement can get a little scary right at the beginning. Other than that, I am super impressed with how this is stitching on my new Qnique 21X Elite. Now, if you'd like to learn more about this machine, possibly adding a computerized quilting system to it, you can learn more about it at leaday.com/21. Until next time, let's go quilt.